Hey guys, YouTube Internet here. Alright, now here I am continuing on with my horror movie reviews. And now next up, here I am with a review for John Carpenter's The Thing. This movie was released in 1982, yeah? And this is actually a sequel. Well, not a sequel, actually, but a remake of the 1951 film, I believe it is. In the 1951 film, The Thing from Another World, which has like been labeled as The Thing, but yeah, because of its like longer title, The Thing from Another World, like people's like tend to forget that that was actually the original film and this is a remake. But yeah, people have really like just said like this is the original Thing film because like there was a newer film that came out. Yeah. But yeah, this is like technically a remake of the film from the 1950s, The Thing from Another World. Yeah. But yeah, this is actually like a once again a pretty good movie. Like Alien, this is another sci-fi horror movie. Yeah, and yeah, and like this film does have like a pretty good story. Like it is actually like a pretty messed up story that it has. Yeah, what this film story is, it's about a group of like American researchers in Antarctica that like encounter like this extraterrestrial life form, and it like apparently like can assimilate and imitate other organisms. Yeah, yeah, and throughout the film, like the group is just like overcome with like this uh paranoia and conflict, and they learn that over time how it really can like actually assimilate them. Yeah, and so then yeah they like pretty much like have to figure out a way to really take out the thing as it's referred to. Yeah, and this really is like a pretty good film. Yeah, it really does tell this story like pretty well. And plus, yeah, when you just see like what the thing is capable of doing to like anything that it can assimilate, like just some of the imagery can really just be like really like what the fuck am I looking at? So yeah, so it is like a pretty like graphic and gory film when you really see like what does happen with whatever the thing can assimilate throughout the film. And yeah, and it once again does kind of like still have like the same sort of style as like films like Alien and Evil Dead, where it just seems like one by one each of the crew members ends up being assimilated by the thing. And yeah, and each one of them get destroyed like one by one throughout the film as like the thing is like continuing to take them over. Yeah, and like I said, it is like a pretty great a pretty good film. You have cast members like Kurt Russell, A. Wilford Brimley, T.K. Carter, David Clennon, David Keith, Richard Dysart, and Charles Hallahan, along with some others. And they all do give some pretty good performances in this film. Yeah. So yeah, so I, so I'm sure like this was just like a John Carpenter's follow up to the original Halloween. And he does once again give us like a pretty good film right here. Yeah, I mean, I've never actually seen like the original film, so I really can't make a comparison between that one and this one. Yeah, but as far as this one goes, it's pretty good. I saw like a James Rolfe's review for the original film, and he was saying how like he really does like being like the classic monster movie fan that he is. He was saying how he has always kind of like had more of like a liking to the original, but he still says that this is like a really good to great film as well. Yeah, he has said despite the fact that he still does like the original, he has said like if people still do prefer this one over the original, that it's fine. So yeah, so I guess this is one of the cases where the argument could be made of which one was better. I really do feel that probably like a lot of people are really going to say that they like this film, and probably like a lot of people that have seen this film probably don't even know that it is a remake because of the fact that the original one has the distinction as distinction of like being known as its longer title or being labeled as it over the years. Yeah, and this film really hasn't really been identified as a remake, but yeah, the bottom line is it is a remake. Yeah, and like I said, it really is like a pretty good film. I do like what it does, and yeah, and the characters are all like pretty good in the film. Yeah, and just like the imagery that you see from the thing throughout the film with it like with it being able to yeah, with it being sorry, with it being able to assimilate others, like you see like what it really is capable of doing. Like yeah, it really does like deliver some very graphic imagery, especially like in the scene where you see like it assimilating a dog and what it is able to do. Like just oh man. Yeah, so yeah, the imagery for this film, yeah, it will really like give you something to remember it by, and yeah, yeah, I'm sure like this film probably like what I was talking about when I was just talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm sure like this movie really did give people like a lot of nightmares when they saw it. Like yeah, and just a lot of people really were like kind of made people like be like nervous to like be around anyone or anything else because like what is shown in this film. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure that this film really did leave an impact like that when it was originally released. Yeah, so just yeah, I don't know what else I can really say about it, but yeah, it is like a really good film. It does tell a really good story. It has some like really memorable moments from the film, and yeah, when you do really like see the imagery from this film, like yeah, I'm sure that when you see it, yeah, it'll be really hard to get out of your head. So yeah, so I guess I'd probably give this film probably 3.5 stars out of 4. All right. So yeah, so I really don't know what else I can really say about the film. There's not really much else to say because yeah, everything I've talked about pretty much does sum this film up. All right. So yeah, so I guess I'll just like go over the premise of the film. All right. So yeah, so the film is set in Antarctica, and there's like this like American research station that they have, and like after there's like a Norwegian helicopter that's in pursuit of a sled dog, like the American and then like see that like there's like the helicopter approaching, and they see like the passenger ending up blowing up the helicopter by accident. Yeah, and as the pilot ends up like firing a rifle, then the station commander ends up firing back and ends up shooting the Norwegian pilot dead. Yeah. So yeah, then then like it's shown that like the the American researchers include the station commander Gary, the helicopter pilot R.J. McReady, the senior biologist Blair, the cook Knowles, the mechanical crew, which consists of Childs, the chief mechanic, and the assistant Palmer, as well as the physician Dr. Copper, and Norris, the geologist. Oh, just along with like they have like a meteorologist, a dog handler, a radio operator, and an assistant biologist. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, then as McReady and Dr. Copper were like going to investigate the Norwegian base. They then like see a bunch of charred ruins and frozen corpses, and they end up like finding like a corpse of a malformed humanoid that they end up bringing back to the their station, and then Blair like as he like conducts an autopsy of the remains of the humanoid, they ends up like seeing that there's like a normal set of human organs inside the remains. Yeah, Yeah, and then as the sled dog then was then kennelled, like it showed then how the dog then ended up metamorphosing and just absorbing several other the station dogs. And yeah, like I said, like this is like the first time we actually see the thing actually assimilating something. Yeah, and yeah, again, you just see like this dog like becomes just like this like just very like unknown like creature. And yeah, then it just like ended up like absorbing the dogs. And as the team was then alerted, then like the creature then just ended up like being incinerated by a flamethrower. And then as like the dog thing was then autopsied, it then ended up like Blair ended up like surmising in that it is an organ that can imitate other life forms. Yeah, yeah. Then um then after data recovered from the Norwegian base, it ended up leading the crew to evacuate to an evacuation site that ended up having a partially buried alien spacecraft. And then uh, Norris, the geologist, ended up estimating that like there's like a smaller human-sized dig site around. Yeah. Then as Blair then started to become paranoid after a computer simulation indicated that the creature could actually assimilate like all the life on Earth within a matter of years. Like they then implemented controls to reduce the risk of the assimilation. Yeah, yeah. But then the remains ended up assimilating and the meteorologist Bennings. Yeah, but then the process ended up being interrupted by Windows, and Bennings ended up being incinerated as well. Yeah, and yeah. Then after discovering that Blair was sabotaging all of their vehicles, they then ended up imprisoning him in a tool shed. And yeah, and it was shown how Blair sabotaged the vehicles and killed the remaining sled dogs and ended up destroying the radio to prevent any escape prevention, escape attempts. Yeah, yeah. Then after a suggestion was made for um, testing for infection by comparing the blood from the crew to against the blood that was held in storage that was uncontaminated. They then saw that the blood stores were all destroyed, and then um, uh, they then just ended up losing faith in Aries' relationship leadership rather. Yeah, and then yeah, then MacReady took command of the crew. Yeah, but then eventually they discovered that the assistant biologist Fuchs they then found that like that he was just burnt, and they then came to the surmise that he committed suicide to avoid any assimilation from the thing. Yeah, and after Windows returned to the base, these MacReady and Knowles investigated MacReady's shack, and when they returned, like uh Knowles just ended up abandoning MacReady in a snowstorm, believing that MacReady was assimilated. He did after he found torn clothes in the shack. Yeah. Then and MacReady eventually ended up breaking in and held the group at bay with dynamite. But then during the encounter, Norris it appeared that he suffered a heart attack, and then as Copper tried to defibrillate Norris, his chest then just transformed into a large mouth and bit off Copper's arms, killing him as well. Yeah. And then yeah, then eventually Norris ended up being incinerated as well, but his head ended up detaching and attempted to escape before they incinerated that as well. Then yeah, then eventually like a hypothesis was made from MacReady that the Norris thing demonstrated that every part from the thing is an individual life form with its own survival instinct. Yeah. And after another proposal was made to test blood samples from each survivor with a heated piece of wire, higher, then like everybody was restrained, but MacReady then ended up like being forced to kill Clark after he lunged at him with a scalpel. Yeah, and like when the test results came back, like everybody passed except for Palmer, or after like his blood ended up recoiling from heat. Then the Palmer thing ended up transforming as well, and then it infected Windows, and then MacReady was then just forced to incinerate both of them. And then as everybody went to go test Blair, they found that like he escaped from his imprisonment. Yeah. And then it shows how like he was using vehicle components to assemble like a small flying saucer, but they ended up destroying. Yeah. And when they returned, they discovered that Childs that was like left unguarded, well, left unguarded, I should say, was missing, and their power generator was destroyed, like taking away their heat. Yeah. Then MacReady then like speculated that like the thing had the intent to return to hibernation until a rescue team arrived. Yeah. And then MacReady, Gary, and Knowles then decided that the thing, like, couldn't be allowed to escape, and then they set explosives all around the station to destroy it. But yeah, and then the Blair thing ended up killing Gary, and Knowles just ended up like disappearing. Yeah, then as the Blair thing transformed into like this even like this even more monstrous creature. Then yeah, it ended up breaking the detonator. But then MacReady then triggered heard like explosives with some dynamite, and then the station was destroyed. Yeah, and then the movie ended showing like a Childs and MacReady like sitting by the burning remains of their station, and they were saying how well then Childs was like telling MacReady that he got lost in the storm while after Blair. Yeah. Then they acknowledged the futility of their distrust. Says like they were just like sitting out freezing to death while sharing a bottle of Scotch whiskey, and yeah, and that's how it ended. So yeah, so this is overall like a once it is a pretty good film. Like yeah, like the performances are all great. It has a pretty good story, and just yeah, the images of this film will really stick with you because yeah, they are some very disturbing images when you see like the thing really assimilating like everyone, such as the dog and like the crew members. So yeah, so it really does like really like have an impact to like give you something to remember it by. So yeah, so it's a really good film, and if you haven't seen it before, and if you are a fan of like sci-fi movies, yeah, I do who say that you should check it out because yeah, it is a really good film with a really good story. So yeah, so I guess this is all I can really say about it. All right, so yeah, so this is it for my review of the thing. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.